Bayless. I'm Jenny Taft, here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning. Good morning.
So I had other plans last night. Did the Lakers play?
Man, go ahead on, Skip. Look, it was Dr. King's Day. It's all about peace. It's all about love. It's all about getting along, Skip.
It was Dr. King's Day, not the King's Day.
Yeah, Dr. King's Day. It was Dr. King's Day. It was a holiday, so he all about peace and loving and getting along. So don't get me riled up.
The opponent feel better about itself.
I didn't sleep a wink last night.
We're not going to have any peace on this show today. Plenty to get to. Should LeBron be embarrassed by the Lakers' performance last night? We'll go there. And is Patrick Mahomes surpassing Tom Brady off the field? But first, we've got to talk about those two on the field. Pro Football Focus has graded their highest-rated postseason performances by a quarterback, and Patrick Mahomes' current playoff run sits at the top. Right behind Mahomes is Aaron Rodgers' Super Bowl run from 2010, and coming in third is Tom Brady in 2017, where he came up short against the Eagles in the Super Bowl, put up nearly flawless numbers. So, Shannon, do you agree with this ranking?
So far, Skip, he's been good as we've seen. 8 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions. No, 9 total touchdowns, 8 through the air, 1 on the ground. Obviously, that great touchdown run that we saw on Sunday. He's gotten off to the start, and when you factor in, Skip, he's down by 24. He's down Sunday twice by 10 points and able to pull that off. There's a reason why when you look at him, you are just in awe of what he's capable of doing. You and I both know, with those same weapons, if they fall behind by 24 with Matt Moore, they're not winning those games. They fall behind by 10 with Matt Moore. They're not winning those games. So sometimes, Skip, in the regular season, you see a star quarterback goes out and you're like, well, anybody can do that. Look at all the... No, you can't. You have to be... He's immensely talented. Now, here's the thing. When they did this, Skip, they based it on 3 games, okay? Because Tom was obviously, I think he was the number 2 seed. But he played 3 games. Rodgers was a wild card. He played 4 games. Rodgers topped it off with the win. Brady didn't win it.
Okay. So you're talking about Brady in 2017.
Brady in 2017, because that's what they're looking at right now.
That's their third best,
That was their third best.
Rodgers 2010 was their
2010, the year he won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Mahomes, now he's going to have to finish it off in order to do this. Now, the thing that he has working and why he can be number 1, Skip, I believe, is that he doesn't have a Derrick Henry. He does not have the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens defenses. We know if they win this, it's going to be on his arm. It's as simple as that. I wish I could say with Skip, Williams might have one of these breakthrough games, or Shady McCoy might dust, getting a time machine and revisit what he once was in Philly. You and I both know that's not happening. If Chiefs are to win this game, Patrick Mahomes is going to have to be flawless like he's been in this playoffs. But Skip, how soon did they forget? It's hard for me to believe that somebody had a better playoff run than Joe Flacco in 2012. Skip, he was 11-0. 11 touchdowns, 0 pick, and he beat 2 Centennial. 2 of the 10 Centennial quarterbacks, he beat them on the road. Peyton Manning in Denver, Tom Brady in New England. And he beat Andrew Luck for good measure. We threw that one in there too, Skip.
Yep.
So it's hard for me to believe. So Nick Foles don't count? Because what about Skip? Now, you said Nick Foles played the 2 best games that you had ever seen.
I agree with that.
And then yesterday, you also, last week you told me Aaron Rodgers, he beat Caleb Haney because Jay Cutler was getting ready for the Tour de France. He beat Caleb. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Okay. And so you're disqualifying number 2.
I'm disqualifying 2 and 3. Because Tom Brady ain't win. You got to win. You got to win, Skip Bayless.
Okay.
And my homeboy, if my homeboy pulls this off, he's going to have to be somewhere around 350, Skip, and probably 4 or 5 touchdowns. So if he's up there around 9, so that'll be 12, 13, 14 total touchdowns with 0 interceptions, yes, this would be there's no question about it, Skip. This would be, and he was at a 97.8 QBR, which is the 3rd best since they've been tracking that. Matt Ryan had one that I think was 98, and Brady was 98.1 a couple of years ago. But Mahomes is off to a great start. Right now, Skip, he gets an incomplete because he still has another game to play.
I have a whole lot to say about everything you just said, so I'm going to have to sort of scattershoot through it. I'm going to have to go to Joe Flacco first. I agree with you. That was an amazing run by Joe Flacco. But I think you forgot or overlooked there was an even more amazing run in the same playoff stretch by this guy. I guess we've forgotten him. Oh, his name is Colin Kaepernick, okay?
Okay.
Colin Kaepernick had a QBR of 92 in his playoff run. The same year, Flacco in 2012 had an 81 QBR.
No, I was just talking about in the game. He had a 97 in the game.
Okay, I got it. But I'm doing the 3 games.
Okay.
That remember, Colin Kaepernick in 2012, he ran and threw wild on Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers at home. It was 45-31. But remember, he ran for 181 yards in that game.
Right.
And then they go to Atlanta, and they were the underdog at Atlanta because we thought
Atlanta
Ryan
jumped out early.
Oh, they jumped out early, and Colin wasn't great in that game, but he was pretty good. He was good enough that they won the football game. And then, of course, they go play Joe Flacco's Ravens, and it goes to the last throw of the game. I thought it was interference. I thought it was pretty obvious. It was uncalled. But Colin was really good. He threw for 302 in that Super Bowl. I thought he was really great in his run. So I could say his run was at least as good as Joe Flacco's. So that Colin playoff run should be up in this top 5 to me. Okay.
Considering QBRs, but you base it on running and throwing.
Okay. So I know how much you love my homeboy. But the point is we only have a 2-game sample size here. So I'm having a hard time overreacting to this because it's laughable overreaction to say that these 2 games qualify him as all-time great because we're just doing, and again, I love Pro Football Focus, but they're just doing it in, you hate these words, you hate the word vacuum because you say I don't vacuum. So I do vacuum occasionally when I'm forced to vacuum, but in this case, we're just doing him in a vacuum that should be disqualified because the opponents aren't good enough and both opponents are at home. So now we're back to your favorite word, which is context, right? What are the context of these 2 wins? Well, you beat the Bill O'Brien coached 10-6 Houston Texans at Kansas City. It's just not good enough. You were a 9.5-point favorite going into the game, right? So if you torch them, I'm not surprised because you probably should torch them.
You was down 24, Skip.
Okay, so you got down 24-0. Now I'm going to use the Dak Prescott Green Bay argument right back against you because you always tell me, how did the Cowboys fall behind 31-3 at home to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, right? Okay, well, how did they? Well, you say, where was Dak? And I said, well, the defense. We going to
say anything about that block punt?
Okay, well, what we're going to say is you fell behind 24-0 at home because the first 3 times you had the football, Patrick Mahomes, you went not 3 and out, but you went out. You had to punt it the first 3 times you had the football.
Well, tell her what happened.
Okay.
You didn't tell her what happened. Kelsey dropped the ball. Sammy Watkins dropped the ball. Marcus Robinson dropped the ball on 3rd down. Tell that now. I need you to tell the whole story.
I see 12 plays for a grand total of 46 yards in your first 3 times. And a couple of those throws were not exactly on target.
On the money.
Oh, stop it. So he had to have some responsibility for falling behind 24-0. So can't we dock him for that? Can't we say, gee, that's 1 quarter out of 8 that you were not very good in, right?
So we gonna do nothing about that block punt, huh?
Okay, well, that's not, again, he has nothing to do with the block punt, but still, that helped you fall behind 24-0 because you had the football and you couldn't do anything with it the first 3 times against a pretty mediocre Houston Texans defense. That's just me.
Okay.
So now we go to Aaron Rodgers, and I'm glad you brought that up. And this is the 2nd best, according to Pro Football Focus, run. And again, they were a road wild card team.
Correct.
So he outdueled Michael Vick at Philadelphia and Matt Ryan at Atlanta, and the Falcons were just pathetic in that game. But Aaron was great in that game.
Right.
And he was pretty good against Michael Vick. But again, the Caleb Haney game, go look at the whole second half. Cutler's on the bicycle. Caleb Haney shouldn't be on the football field. He probably didn't deserve to be in the league as a backup quarterback, but they had actually another, Todd Collins was actually hurt too. So Aaron Rodgers got to play Caleb Haney, and he threw what was almost a pick 6 to Urlacher that got returned down to the 3-yard line. And look at his numbers in the second half. They were pretty pathetic, and they just barely hung on to beat the Chicago Bears. Okay, and then in the Super Bowl, Polamalu, according to my friend Ryan Clark from ESPN, should not have played because he had a pulled hamstring, so he could barely sort of wobble onto the field. And you know, Aaron was good. He threw one great ball to Greg Jennings that basically broke the game open. Yeah. But is that the greatest playoff run? Because he gets disqualified by his second half in the NFC Championship game on the road at Chicago.
But I love how you try to minimize, oh, that was a Bill O'Brien coach team. So is Doug Marrone going to the Hall of Fame? And who was the quarterback?